Okay, what we have here today is a box. Woo, a box. From Dadao Chen. I apologize, I don't know your eBay store username offhand. Supposedly inside this box is the Tanto from the infamous Can Your Tanto Do This threads. So as I can maintain a level of believability that and accountability that I did not in any way mess with this knife, this Tanto, I'm going to open the box right here on camera and conduct the first initial evaluations of sharpness right here. Okay, what have we got here? Oh, and he's got a little bit of leather sheath. That's very nice. Assuming that it is as sharp as is claimed. Would hate to find out that it is on accident. Okay, wow. Well, first thing I notice is that this is a really beefy blade. I mean, that looks like, I don't know, 1/4 inch or something. That's thick. It's got a lot of heft to it. This is it's a pretty serious piece of steel. Okay, I can see immediately that it is folded. There's a folded pattern in steel. Yeah, let's see. And there is a Haman present. It is, not a Haman that jumps out and says, "Here I am," but it is visible and it's fairly nice. See the shape right there? It appears to be a tactical style. The Ito is just wrapped right on the Nakago there, with a little bit of Saraigawa on there. And the crossovers do not alternate. They're very tight. Got a little piece of leather with kind of a cool little skull ornament there. Neat. Alright. Well, let's take a feel of this edge. My initial impression is that this is indeed rather sharp. What's also very interesting is that there's a good amount of niku to this. This ha swells out pretty aggressively. It feels very curvy. I like that. Let's see. It does appear symmetrical. It does appear that the edge is, well, there's a spot right here where the edge is not perfectly centered on the blade, but to be honest, that's going to make very little difference in anything. Okay, well, let's see how sharp this critter is. We saw Ricky at Dadao Chen do this test, but see, that's just a push. That's not even a slice. That's much harder to cut. A slice, I mean, you could, with a slice, and it cuts much cleaner. But with a push, let's get a straight edge here. Yeah, see? That is much harder to accomplish. And it wasn't perfect, but you know what? If you look right here, through this area, That's a very clean cut. And there was absolutely no slicing action whatsoever in that cut. Alright, well, I don't know if I'm going to do the 10 and 50 pieces of paper. I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure about that whole test. I like to cut flimsier stuff. This newspaper here, this magazine print, looks like some sort of a knife and gun catalog. This stuff is significantly harder to cut than thicker paper. Now, and what you really want to look for is you want to actually look at the cut. The fact that it cuts it at all is not that big of a deal. What you want to see is you want to look at the cut and get really right up in there, get some light on it, and look at the edge. The smoother and cleaner the edge is, and the less hair and fur and fibers sticking out, the sharper it is. There's a little bit of hair, fur, and fibers sticking out on these, but they're really, really small. You know. So let's go on to paper towel. Now, this stuff's kind of hard to cut. This is a knife made by Sam Salvati. I've had it for a while. It's not super sharp, but it's serviceable sharp. It's, you know, it still scrapes fingernail. It's sharp enough, you know. Right? It's not going to cut this, I can tell you. Or it's not going to cut it well. One of the two, yeah. Okay. It's kind of a jagged cut. There's lots of threads and stuff sticking out. See how this does. You gotta be careful when you do this, not to put weight on and tear it. Okay, there we go. That's a pretty clean cut. There is some thread, some hair sticking out, but not bad. Not bad at all. That's sharp. There's no doubt about it. That's sharp. All right, let's try toilet paper. Ooh, we got a little bit of a cut there. Oops, put too much weight on it. That was my fault. This is not the best tissue paper, unfortunately. But you know, we're kind of a silly family. We don't buy our toilet paper based upon what gives the best sharpness test for a blade. That's not the criteria that we buy our toilet paper on. We have other requirements. Oh, we did get a couple small cuts. And where they did cut it was fairly clean. I don't have any tatami prepared just yet. It won't be long before I do. The next test is going to be tatami. And I can already tell you that this Tanto is going to cut tatami without too much trouble. And the reason I say that is, A, it's good and sharp. But most of all, it's the weight. This thing has a thick, heavy blade, and it has serious authority in the blade. I mean, it's really very, very stout, and there's a lot of weight out there. So as long as my edge alignment is good, and as long as I'm able to keep the tatami inside the blade, yeah, it's going to cut it, no problem. And I don't think that Dadao Chen, Ricky's cutting skills were necessarily the determining factor. You know, I mean, the man does have skills. I don't think anyone really will debate that. But this Tanto is built in such a way that it can easily perform heavy target cutting. There's no doubt in my mind about that. It's good and sharp. How sharp is it? It's hard to exactly quantify how sharp it is. I have felt production swords that were this sharp and possibly sharper. Possibly. I would say it is a little bit sharper than a really good Hanwei sharp. Hanwei stuff, when you get a really good one, is pretty darn sharp. And this, I would say, is a little bit sharper than that. Obviously, anyone who really knows what they're doing with you know, a sharpener could get it sharper, but it really doesn't need to be. This is a very well sharpened. The geometry is very clean. The shinogi is very crisp. It's a very attractive blade, and I will not be surprised at all when this thing cuts through a full roll of tatami without any trouble. You got a good Tanto here. I like it. See if we can get some. Okay, there you can see the hamon. And that whole kind of that whitish area there, all that whitish stuff there is really the it's there because of the hada. You know, all this through here, it's white because you can see the hada in there. Up here on the ha side of the hamon, you cannot see any hada to speak of. All right, and there you go. There's an idea, give you an idea how thick that is. It's a thick blade. Well, it'll do it. May not be the very best at it, but it will do it. Alright.